Welcome to the Spunky Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, psychic medium Carrie Muggs. This is where we learn all things spirit, everything from spiritual gifts, awakenings, ghosts, aliens, and starseeds. Nothing is untouchable, but always fun and spunky. I am honored to be on this spiritual journey with you, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Hello, Spunksters. How are you? So, today we are going to talk about kind of the hero's journey, right? Like being our own hero. We have more power than we even realize that we do. And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit because I realized when I was back in the day when I used to do some Beachbody coaching, we would do these team retreats. And we'd do these things for team building. And so we'd have these competitions and each team would do a thing or all this stuff. And I noticed when we would do individual exercises or individual things, I wasn't quite up to par. I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. Or like if we had to climb the rope, I wasn't physically where I wanted to be. Or if we had to do certain things inside just singularly, I just was always falling short. I was just not happy. I wouldn't push myself. I would just be like, oh, well. But if we did like combine things with the team, I would so push myself. Because somebody else depended on me, and I was a huge people pleaser. And so I would push myself too hard sometimes. I would go above and beyond. I would make sure I could get that done. Like if we had certain things where I had to help with a partner, I would go above and beyond to get it done because I wanted my partner. I didn't want to let down my partner. And so it got me thinking when I was done, why do I show up that strongly for others and not myself? Why do I do that? Why do I want to be a hero for other people or help other people? But I don't come in with that same desire or that same purpose when it's just for me. And I kind of started to realize that it needed to be the other way around, right? I needed to show up for me and I needed to be there for me so I could show up for other people the way I wanted to. So I could do those things and be at where I wanted to be. We've all heard the analogy about the airplane mask, right? If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, then you can't be the hero and you can't help other people because you're going to be passed out or you're going to be whatever, so you can't help that. You're going to run out of oxygen and you're not going to be able to help whoever's with you. So today we're talking a little bit about the hero's journey. So what is the hero's journey and why can't we be a hero for ourselves? So we all kind of know, the hero's journey in any type of movie that has a hero or any type of that is where there's someone who doesn't believe in themselves or someone who has low self-esteem or someone who isn't quite up to par to where they want to be, right? And then they go through this, like this, like one of the courses. They go through this hard trial or they go through this thing and they realize how powerful they are and that they had it inside of them the whole time. And this lifetime is that hero journey for us. And we think that we are this spirit. We think that we're this human, that we're on earth and we're being human and we're trying to find this spiritual experience. When in reality, we are a spirit. We are a spirit, a very profound, strong, powerful spirit that's inside this body, and we're having a human experience. And we're trying to figure that out. We're trying to, we're trying to figure out, we think we're having a spiritual awakening when actually we're probably having a human awakening because we come into this body and we're trying to figure it all out. It's just like us getting into our cars. We are a soul and we get into a car or an automobile, and the automobile is our body. And it's just like the hand analogy. When you put a when you put a glove on over your hand, it's like your hand is your spirit, and then you put it inside the glove, and it becomes that body. We are inside of us, our soul, our spirit lives within this body. And this is kind of a tangent, but I was listening to a lot of near death experiences for last week, and one of the things that they said is a lot of them would say they felt bad that they were so hard on their bodies. They felt bad that they disliked their body, and that really hit home for me because I am really hard on my body sometimes, and I really feel like it should be where it's not. And so I have to remember that this body is good for my spirit. This I'm a spirit, I'm a spiritual being having an experience in this body. And I need to treat I need to treat this body like it's amazing. And it's done so much for me. So I just think that what happens is we get into this journey of life and we get kind of stuck in the hero's journey. We get stuck in the beginning. We don't ever realize how much power we have inside of ourselves. We're always looking for this outside source of someone to save us, or this outside source of somebody to help us. And lots of, the knight in shining armor coming through, or somebody's gonna somehow somewhere that money's gonna show up, or which is great for manifesting sometimes, right? But at the end of the day, we've got to manifest that. We've got to create that. We are our only hero. No one else is going to come in and save our butts. No one else is going to come in and, I mean, sometimes on a rare occasion that happens, but honestly, we have to, in that middle of that journey, we have to figure out, we have to realize we have what it takes. We have everything we need inside of us already to complete the hero's journey. So the end goal, right, is to become who we truly are and save ourselves as much. And if that involves saving other people, that's great. But honestly, this experience in this lifetime is to have this hero's journey and figure out who the hell we are and where we came from and what we are capable of doing. Not only spiritual, but physically. We just cut ourselves short all the time. And that's when I realized, okay, I keep showing up for all these other people because I'm a people pleaser. I would show up even with my business. If you guys have noticed in the beginning, I would run myself ragged trying to get all these appointments in and get people in on time. And finally, it was just wearing on me, and I had to figure out I had to take care of me before I could take care of my clients. I had to take care of me as a mom before I could take care of my children. And I learned that kind of later, especially with little children. It's a little harder. And still, my children are my biggest downfall. So it's still a little hard. But if we perceive ourselves as a spirit, as a soul, as a powerful, significant energy source inside of our bodies, then it might be a little easier to figure out, who we are and why we're here today, and what our purpose is, and what we can accomplish, what can we accomplish. And I always, I kind of feel like Christ came to show us, and I might get a little pushback on this, and that's okay because we all have our own opinions, right? And we all have our own opinions, and we take from this podcast, you take what fits with you and what doesn't. But I feel like Christ came to show us what we were capable of doing. I don't feel like he came here to get worshipped and bowed down to. I feel like he came here to say, this is what you are completely capable of doing. You have all of this inside of you. And you know why you have all of this inside of you? Because you have a light inside of you. This is that light that everyone talks about. Shine your light. Bring others your light. Help others with your light. So I want you to imagine this light. This is that spirit we were talking about. This is that soul that's inside this body. And people call it the light of Christ. Some people call it your aura, or yeah, your aura. And what happens is when we people please or when we do all the things and we run out of that, we dim our light. We dim that light. Or when we don't want to be more than what people can handle, we dim this light. You know what this light is, you guys? This light is God. This light inside of you is God, is part of God. It's or God or source or the universe. So God is an energy source, an energy of love, a light of love. It's this big energy that is just full of unconditional love, unconditional power. And we are when we were created, we were given part of that light or part of that source light. And so we're not only just children of God, we are part of God. So it's kind of like when you have your own kids. If you have kids, you kind of know what I'm talking about. They're part of you. They're part of who you are. They have their own journey and they have their own experiences, but they're part of you. It's so hard to explain, but I kind of think if you are a parent, you understand it. And this is the same thing. We have this part of us is that we are part of God. We come from source. We come from this energy source, this creator of all. And it's the most powerful source in the universe. And it's so crazy because we're part of that. You're part of that. And so it disempowers us when we look to others to save us or when we look to others to complete us. And I'm not saying we can't help each other because that makes the source light even brighter when we help each other. And we kind of all are, it's that whole we are one type of thing. But we can help each other and we can be there for each other and we can, help light, be a lighthouse for others. But at the same time, you always have to make sure your lighthouse is lit. And if you're going above and beyond and people pleasing and being and going into depression and not taking care of yourself and not taking care of your mental health, that light goes out. And when that light goes out in that lighthouse, you can't help others. Even though you want to so badly, you've got to light your own light. You've got to keep that lighthouse. You've got to keep it light. You've got to keep it lit. And so, that's what I'm here to tell you. I think that you are so powerful. You're powerful beyond measure. And that's that poem that you're more afraid of your power because you are so powerful beyond measure. And what does that mean? You have so much power inside of you that you don't remember. You don't remember or you get self-doubt. But beyond measure means countless. Beyond measure means hidden. Beyond measure means immense, incalculable, indescribable, unmeasurable. So to realize that you have that power within inside you is powerful. Like, I know I'm using the word power a lot, but it's because it is. And so you guys, when you don't realize you have that or you don't believe you have that, then you don't. Because what you perceive becomes your reality, right? And I think, I can't remember who said that, but what you perceive becomes your reality. And if you perceive this light as just being an aura or just being your energy source, then that's what it's going to be to you. But if you perceive this power as being beyond measurable and countless and hidden and immense and incalculable, then that's what it will be. And also too, being part of the hero is you don't want to be selfish, but you don't also want to become narcissistic, that you think that you are better than anybody, because nobody is better than anybody. Nobody is more I don't even know what the words, but nobody is more superior to anybody and nobody is more inferior to anybody. Nobody. So you're not inferior to anybody and you are not more superior than anybody. We are all equal. We are all loving. Now, we each have different gifts that we bring to the table, right? We each have different things that we bring in to create this and or to have these things. And sometimes there are people put in our paths like soulmates that and soul family people that help us on our journey. They're helping us, but that's all they're doing is helping us because we can do this. They just are there to remind us we can do this, right? So I thought that being your own hero was kind of cool because being your own hero means you show yourself real love. You develop your own values. You stay true to your own commitments that you make to yourself. So when you every time you say I'm going to do this. Okay, so here's the thing. I would make plans with people and I would be like, "Oh, I have to go. I have to go. I have to show up for them." I told them I would. But then I would make plans for just me and I'd be like, no, I'm not going to go." Why would I not show up for me? Why would I not show up for me? Because why was I less important to myself than these other people, right? You have to stay true to your commitments and that you make to yourself. And this includes when you decide you want a different lifestyle, if you decide you want to start meditating for 10 minutes every day, if you decide that you want to work out for 20 minutes every day, you have to be true to your own commitments to yourself because these things are going to help you heal. Exercise, meditation, figuring out who the hell you are. That is going to help you that's going to be part of this journey. So you need to say what you're going to do. You need to do that. Also too, hero's mindset, that you are powerful. You have to have that mindset, right? You have to change that mindset. And I think with anything that we do, we have to change our mindset. We have to change our mindset that we are powerful. One of my daughters, when she was going to her counselor, I would always be this person that when I was driving down the highway, if someone was behind me, I'd always stress out that they were behind me, that I was like, oh, I'm not going fast enough for them, or I need to get over to the other side, which is by law what you're supposed to do. But if there was other cars to the other side and to the right side of me and I was trying to pass and then there was a other car on my tail, I always would get so nervous. I would always feel like I was in the way or I was doing something wrong. And so I always am worried about that. And finally one time my daughter's like, you take up space too. You are allowed to take up space too. You get to take up space. And it's so crazy to me because I would look at other people and I would be like, they are so confident in making that choice and they don't care if they put other people out because, and not by putting other people out, but I always try, I don't want to be in anybody's way. I would always try and hurry and get my stuff done. I did not basically want to take up space. And my daughter said to me, you get to take up space too. Everybody gets to take up space. That's what we're all here for. We all get to take up space and we get to make space for each other sometimes. And that's why we help each other. That's why we help each other grow. And sometimes you don't have the energy to help people, and that's okay. That's why if you ever go to a vent session or you ever want to talk about your problems to somebody, you got to make sure they have the capacity for it because sometimes they don't. So it's kind of your responsibility to say, hey, do you have the capacity for this? Because I need to vent for a minute. And if they say no, do not be offended. Because a lot of people pleasers will be like, yeah, I have the capacity, or yeah, they'll let you vent to them and they'll go home exhausted. You'll feel better, but they'll feel exhausted. You have to kind of watch other people's energy because Gary Vee once said, and it made so much sense to me, it's so crazy, but Gary Vee, he's pretty aggressive. He's pretty like, you take care of you, you do your hero thing. And he once said, nobody gives a crap about your problems except for your mom. And it's because she has to. Now, I don't feel like that's entirely true because we do care about other people and their well-being. But at the end of the day, sometimes when we can't help them, when we can't take it away from them, and all it turns into is a vent session after vent session after vent session, then that's when it kind of gets wearing, right? I've told my kids so many times, if you complain about it, you can fix it. Now, my son would be like, that's not entirely true. And there are some things that you can't change, like death or loss. but you can change how you respond to it, and you can change your mindset to it. If you lose somebody and you go through the grieving process, that is completely okay. But if you expect other people to vent, to lower their energy for you and with you, that's not okay. They can for a minute, and they can create that space, but just make sure you're not constantly tearing. I mean, this is a hard one because grief is hard, but honestly, go to a counselor. If you're struggling with grief and it's constant and you constantly find yourself talking about it, go into counseling. Go into a grief counselor, because your neighbor is and your friend is not equipped to help you with that, right? And by going to counseling, you figure out the tools that you have inside of you and the power that you have inside of you to deal with that grief and to deal with that loss, because everything you need is inside of you. And this is where you become your hero. You become your own hero. You don't expect anybody else to take on that for you or take that grief for you. You become your own hero. And this is true with everything, right? So, the way you become some of the characteristics of being your own hero or being a hero is, oh, and I just want to say too, self-awareness is not being selfish. It's not being narcissistic. Self-awareness is about knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, and knowing that if you compare yourself with other people, you're comparing your strengths to their weaknesses or vice versa, and that is not okay. So you being your own hero is knowing what you're good at and what you're not, and how to work through that, or maybe how to have somebody help you be part of the part that you're not. Characteristics of being a hero. Bravery. Now, bravery doesn't mean you're not scared. Bravery just means you do it scared. And I tell my kids all the time, do it scared. It's never like with reading sometimes when I first started, terrified. Had to do it terrified. You do it scared. Courage, same thing. Courage is just giving the strength to at least try it. At least try it, at least do it. Integrity, kindness, conviction, determination, inspiration, and this one, confidence. Honestly, I think that's the one that a lot of people lack, is the confidence in themselves. The confidence in themselves to move forward and to do it. And so confidence is key. Confidence and bravery combined, man, you can conquer the world. Your purpose and sharing that light with others. That lighthouse, you're the lighthouse, and sharing that light with others. But you know what? You have to take care of you, because you have to be able to light the light in the lighthouse. You have to take care of that. So, a hero mindset is about living your purpose and sharing that light with others. Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to get the hero syndrome, though. So being a hero is great, doing all that, but don't get the hero syndrome that you need to save people always, that you always feel like you need to save someone, or someone always needs you. You are worthy of love whether or not you help somebody else or not. You are worthy. Your worth is not determined on how you help other people. Your worth is determined on how you are self-aware with yourself, so you can get to and mental health and physical health, so you can have that light shine inside of you, so you can get to the point where you have the energy to help others. Because you can't help others if you aren't okay. And that's okay, because we have times in our lives that we're on this roller coaster, right? And sometimes we're really good and have the capacity to help others, and sometimes we don't. That also goes with the strengths and weaknesses. Our strengths, I can help people with meditation, and I can help people to tap into their spiritual gifts. I can do readings for people and help people connect to their loved ones. But my biggest quality is probably not the paranormal part. And so if I were to do something, I would call in a specialist that helps with the paranormal, or I would learn the paranormal part so I could do it on my own. So that's what today is. I just wanted you to know and remember your power. Remember who you are. Remember My favorite show when I was little was Lion King. And it was part of that hero's journey, right? Like Mufasa passes over, Simba loses his father, and Simba runs away. He runs away from his problems, and he realizes that he can't run away from his problems. Like Mufasa comes to him and says, remember who you are. Remember where you came from. Remember he has parts of Mufasa inside of him. And so that's what I want you to remember. I want you, and then Simba went and he took back the land. He took he took his spot as king because he had that power within inside him. He did it. Even the monkey told him, everyone was telling him, you have it inside you. He'd be like, no, I don't, no, I don't. And he does. Every hero's journey is like that. Every show you watch is like that. And that is what we're here on earth as, this hero journey. So this is your reminder to remember who you are. Remember where you came from. Remember that you've got this, and you've got such a huge spiritual team behind you and backing you. You've got your ancestors, you've got your guides. You created this. You before you came here said, this is the things that I wanted to experience. Now, when we're here, we forget that because the veil thickens and we forget our purpose and we forget why we're here, and things happen and shit happens and we get kind of lost in that, and we forget who we are and we forget why things happen. And if we remember the whole picture, then we remember who we are. So this is why this is just your reminder that you are powerful beyond measure and that you can be your own hero. And you have it inside of you to do what's coming up. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because I feel like big things are coming. And you need to be ready for that. Big things are coming for your life. I'm not prophesying big things on earth happening. I'm just saying it's time. It's time to raise your frequency. And when I say raise your frequency, it's remembering who the hell you are. And that's what you need to do. And that is why we're here, is to remember who we are and to remember what power we have and to remember that we are powerful beyond measure. And so that's why I love saying every time is that you have the magic inside of you. You always have the magic inside of you. Whether it's called power or magic, or I don't care. It's who you are, and it's who you are becoming, and it's beautiful, and it's worthy, and it's enough for anybody, and it's you cannot measure your self-worth on things outside of you. You measure your self-worth on this power that's in you. So I love you guys. I really hope that helps you today. I hope that gets you through this next week. The Carrie Connects cards have been and the last 2 weeks have been crazy with all the full moon and the eclipse and everything. And so sometimes we get off our path, or we forget who we are, if we get our power. And this is just your reminder that you are really friggin' badass. If you liked this episode of Spunky Spirit Podcast, please share it with others and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to check out Carrie Connects on my Instagram, YouTube, or sign up for the mail newsletter to get that every Monday.